Let's talk about something most people never realize until it's too late. Something so powerful it's been shaping your destiny every single day, whether you're aware of it or not. It doesn't care if you're rich or broke, confident or afraid, driven or lazy. It's always working. This isn't superstition. It's not theory. It's law. The one universal law that controls your life without you even knowing it is the law of belief. The truth that what you believe to be true becomes your reality. Every moment of your life, this law is operating like gravity. You don't have to see it for it to work. You don't have to believe in gravity to fall off a building. And the same thing happens with belief. Whether you know it or not, your beliefs are shaping your emotions, your behaviors, your results, and ultimately your destiny. Think about it. You can have two people face the same storm. One drowns in fear, the other builds a boat. Same situation, different beliefs. One says, this is the end. The other says, this is my chance to grow. And that's why this law is so powerful, because life isn't about what happens to you. It's about what you believe it means. If you believe life is unfair, you'll find evidence everywhere that supports it. If you believe life is working for you, you'll start seeing opportunities that were invisible before. Because your mind is like a filter. It's not showing you the truth. It's showing you your version of the truth, filtered through your beliefs. The moment you change your beliefs, you change your life. But here's the catch. You can't change a belief you're not aware of. And that's where most people get stuck. They're running old programs from childhood, from pain, from fear, from what others said about them. They're living in invisible cages made of words, labels, and memories. They think they're free, but they're not. You've got to question the story that's been running your life. Who told you that you're not enough? Who told you success isn't for people like you? Who told you that your dream is impossible? Because if that belief isn't empowering you, it's not truth. It's poison. Listen, your brain is always listening to you. Every word you repeat, every thought you feed becomes a seed, and those seeds grow roots. You can't plant weeds of doubt and expect a harvest of confidence. You can't speak failure and walk in victory. You can't believe small and live big. The law of belief doesn't take sides. It simply gives you more of what you believe. If you think you can't, your mind will find reasons you can't. If you believe you can, your mind will find ways to make it happen. That's why faith isn't just spiritual. It's neurological. Your belief activates parts of your brain that create solutions you never saw before. The moment you shift your belief, you shift your energy and life responds. Look at every major transformation story. You'll find one moment where belief changed, a moment when a person said, no more. I refuse to live like this. I am more than what they said I am. That's when the law flipped. The same person, same circumstances, but a different belief. That's the moment life starts to bend in your favor. And here's what's beautiful. You can choose your beliefs. You can rewire your inner world. You can take those lies that have kept you small and replace them with truth that sets you free. It starts with awareness. Catch the thoughts that drain you, challenge them. Speak life, speak strength, speak purpose, because your words are building the framework of your future. This law doesn't rest. It's always shaping, always creating, always mirroring you. The question isn't whether it's working. It's whether you're using it consciously or unconsciously. You can't turn it off, but you can turn it in your favor. So today, I want you to decide, what do you choose to believe about who you are, about what's possible for you, about your future? Because your entire life will rise or fall to the level of your belief. You weren't born to play small. You weren't created to survive. You were created to create. You have power over your mind, your focus, your meaning, and your belief. When you shift those, the universe shifts with you. This law doesn't discriminate. It rewards certainty, not circumstance. The moment you believe it's possible, the moment you align your words, your actions, and your energy with that belief, everything begins to move. Doors open. People appear, ideas flow. So stop waiting for proof. Stop waiting for permission. Choose to believe first, because belief is not what you get after success. It's what creates it. Everything in your life, from your relationships to your finances, your health to your happiness, is being governed by one thing, the law of belief. It is the invisible force behind every decision, every reaction, and every result you experience. You may think that luck, timing, or circumstances determine your path, but underneath all of that lies the truth. What you believe becomes what you live. This law is not something you choose to activate. It's already in motion. Like gravity, it doesn't need your permission. It's shaping your life with precision, responding to every belief you hold, whether empowering or destructive. The reason most people feel stuck isn't because life is unfair. It's because they've been unknowingly programming their reality through beliefs that work against them. Every day, your beliefs act like a silent script running in the background of your mind. They tell you who you are, what you're capable of, what you deserve, and what's possible for you. And the power of belief is so profound that your mind will always work to make your beliefs true. If you believe people can't be trusted, you'll find proof of betrayal. If you believe opportunities are rare, your brain will filter out abundance. If you believe you're not enough, you'll sabotage every chance to rise. The law doesn't judge your beliefs, it simply amplifies them. That's why belief is the foundation of all transformation. You can change your goals, your strategies, your habits, but if you don't change what you believe about yourself and the world, nothing will stick. Belief is the seed of experience. When you believe something, you don't just think it, you feel it, you act on it, you embody it, and those actions shape your destiny. You can't outperform your beliefs any more than a tree can grow taller than its roots. If your belief system is rooted in fear, doubt, or limitation, your life will mirror that. But if your belief system is rooted in faith, strength, and purpose, your life expands. Your results will always rise to the level of your beliefs. It's the ultimate mirror. You attract what aligns with your inner certainty, not your outer desires. The problem is most people inherited their beliefs. They didn't choose them. They absorbed them from parents, teachers, culture, religion, and pain. They accepted other people's opinions as facts about who they are. And once those beliefs took root, they became self-fulfilling prophecies. A child who's told they're not smart enough grows into an adult who never tries. A person who believes money is evil unconsciously pushes away wealth. A soul that believes love always ends in heartbreak builds walls so high that no one can get in. The law of belief is neutral. It's not punishing you, it's reflecting you. It's giving form to your internal truth. When you look at people who have achieved extraordinary success, they aren't necessarily the smartest or most talented. They simply believe differently. They've trained their minds to see opportunities where others see dead ends. They've programmed their internal dialogue to align with victory instead of defeat. They've decided that their destiny is shaped by their conviction, not their conditions. That's the difference. The same law that keeps one person stuck in scarcity is the same law that propels another into abundance. It's not the law that changes, it's the belief behind it. Beliefs are like frequencies. When you tune into a certain frequency, you attract the experiences that match it. If you're tuned to fear, you'll attract more reasons to be afraid. If you're tuned to faith, you'll attract breakthroughs. Your energy, your words, your posture, even the way you breathe, all reflect what you believe. The universe responds to that vibration. It doesn't give you what you want, it gives you what you're congruent with. That's why two people can say the same affirmation, but only one sees results. The difference isn't in the words, it's in the belief behind them. To master this law, you must become aware of what's truly driving you. You have to listen to the internal conversations you've been having with yourself for years. What do you tell yourself when things go wrong? What do you believe about love, success, purpose, and failure? Those thoughts aren't random. They're the architecture of your life. Every emotion you feel, every reaction you have stems from a belief. When you feel unworthy, it's not reality. It's a belief being played on repeat. When you hesitate, it's not the situation. It's your belief about your ability. When you procrastinate, it's not laziness. It's a belief that you'll fail anyway. Everything circles back to belief. Once you see this, everything changes. You stop blaming circumstances and start reclaiming power. You realize you've been the architect all along, and you begin to challenge every belief that limits you. The moment you question a belief, you weaken its power. The moment you replace it with truth, you begin to reprogram your life. This is where true transformation begins, not from changing the outer world, but by changing the inner world that creates it. Belief is the source of every action, every emotion, every breakthrough. People don't follow strategies, they follow beliefs. Every revolutionary invention, every comeback story, every miracle started with someone believing it was possible. Before it existed in the physical, it existed in the mind. Belief creates focus, and focus creates action. And when you act in alignment with belief, momentum takes over. That's when the law begins to multiply your results. The external world starts rearranging itself to match your conviction. People show up, resources appear, coincidences align. But they're not coincidences. They're confirmations of belief. The danger is not the absence of belief. It's the presence of the wrong one. The beliefs you ignore control you the most. I can't, I'm not ready, or it's too late becomes a command to your subconscious. Your brain doesn't argue with you. It obeys you. It looks for patterns that match your instructions. You tell yourself you're unlucky and suddenly life agrees. You tell yourself you're unstoppable and life aligns. This is not fantasy. It's physics of the mind. You become what you repeatedly believe. The law of belief operates beyond logic. You can have all the information in the world, but if your belief system doesn't accept it, it won't matter. You can tell yourself you're successful, but if deep down you believe you're unworthy, that belief wins. You can visualize abundance, but if you believe wealth is bad, you'll unconsciously reject it. The subconscious mind doesn't work with desires, it works with beliefs. And the only way to shift your outer world is to recondition your inner one. It all starts with a decision to no longer live by default, but by design. To take ownership of what you believe and align it with who you truly want to become. To realize that belief is not passive, it's power. It's the starting point of creation. The energy you send out through belief becomes the energy that returns to you through experience. This law is the silent force writing your life script moment by moment through the stories you choose to believe. Your mind is not showing you the truth. It's showing you your version of the truth. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, every reaction you have is filtered through what you believe. That's why two people can live through the exact same moment and have completely different experiences. One person sees a crisis, another sees a chance to grow. One sees rejection, another sees redirection. It's not reality that's different. It's the filter of belief that's shaping perception. You don't see the world as it is. You see it as you are. Your beliefs act like lenses on your eyes, coloring everything you perceive. They decide what you notice, what you ignore, what you amplify, and what you distort. And because of that, they control how you experience life without you ever realizing it. When you believe something long enough, your brain literally rewires itself to support that belief. Neurologically, you begin to develop patterns that match your inner convictions. If you believe life is hard, your brain constantly scans for evidence to prove that belief right. It highlights struggle, magnifies obstacles, and filters out ease. If you believe life is abundant, your mind finds opportunities, connects dots, and brings solutions into focus. Your brain's reticular activating system, the mental filter that decides what information reaches your conscious mind, responds only to what it believes is important. And what's important is always decided by your beliefs. You could be surrounded by opportunity, love, or breakthroughs, but if your belief system says they're not for you, your brain won't even recognize them. They'll be invisible to you because your internal filter says they don't fit your version of reality. The most dangerous part of this law is its invisibility. Most people never question their beliefs because they assume what they see is the truth. They don't realize that what they're seeing is a projection of their own internal story. When someone says, people can't be trusted, what they're really saying is, my experiences and beliefs have created a world where trust feels impossible. When someone says, money is evil, they're not describing money, they're describing their belief about it. The mind is a master of confirmation. It loves being right. It would rather prove a destructive belief true than consider that it might be wrong, because being right gives it certainty. And certainty, even if painful, feels safer than change. That's why people cling to their beliefs, even when those beliefs keep them stuck. Your belief filter is constantly shaping your emotions. If you believe you're not enough, every compliment feels like pity. Every success feels temporary. Every failure feels like proof. But if you believe you are capable, every challenge becomes an opportunity to grow. The external event doesn't change. The internal interpretation does. And that interpretation decides how you feel, how you act, and what you create next. This is the cycle that quietly controls lives. Belief creates perception. Perception creates emotion. Emotion creates action. And action reinforces belief. It's a loop that either imprisons you or empowers you, depending on what's at the core of your filter. The reason so many people struggle to change their lives is because they're trying to change the wrong thing. They try to change behavior without changing the belief that drives it. They try to think positively while still believing negatively. They recite affirmations while still filtering reality through old wounds. Until you shift the belief, the filter doesn't change. And until the filter changes, the world keeps reflecting the same story back to you. That's why people feel like they're reliving the same patterns in different places with different people in different years. It's not fate, it's the filter. The story running in the background is so strong that it pulls you toward experiences that validate it. You can trace every pattern of frustration back to a belief that isn't serving you. The belief that you're unworthy attracts relationships that treat you as such. The belief that success requires struggle creates unnecessary hardship. The belief that happiness is for others keeps joy out of reach. The belief that people don't change makes transformation impossible. Your beliefs are like magnets pulling in experiences that match their frequency. They decide what version of the world you live in, even though you share the same planet as everyone else. And the only way to experience a new reality is to adopt a new belief system that allows you to see it. Once you become aware of your filter, everything changes. You start catching yourself in the moment when you feel fear, when you make excuses, when you sabotage yourself. And instead of reacting automatically, you pause and ask, what am I believing right now that's creating this feeling? That question exposes the programming. You begin to see how beliefs you never questioned have been steering you for years. And awareness gives you power because once you see the filter, you can clean it. You can choose a belief that serves you instead of one that limits you. You can decide to believe that life is happening for you, not to you. That setbacks are setups for growth. That you are worthy, capable, and guided. The moment you adopt that belief, your perception shifts. You start to notice opportunities that were invisible before. You start to feel energy where you once felt resistance. It's not magic, it's alignment. Your filter also shapes how you interpret people. Two, people can say the same words to you, but your belief decides what you hear. Someone who believes they're loved will hear care. Someone who believes they're not enough will hear criticism. That's why it's not the world that's toxic. It's the unhealed filters that make it appear that way. You project your inner world outward and call it reality. But what you're really seeing is a reflection of your belief system. Change the belief, and the reflection changes to even your sense of identity is built on belief. The statements, I am shy, I am unlucky, I am not good with money, aren't facts. They're beliefs that have been repeated so often they've become identity. But identity is just a collection of reinforced force beliefs. You can change it by questioning the ones that no longer fit the person you're becoming. Your brain doesn't care what's true. It only cares what you repeat. The more you repeat something, the more your mind accepts it as reality. That's why it's crucial to speak and think in alignment with who you want to be, not who you were conditioned to be. Beliefs also dictate your level of resilience. When you believe challenges grow you, pain becomes a teacher. When you believe challenges destroy you, pain becomes a threat. The event is the same. The outcome is determined by your filter. Some people see rejection as proof they're unworthy, while others see it as redirection towards something greater. Some see uncertainty as chaos, others see it as possibility. The difference isn't in intelligence, talent, or luck. It's in the belief filter that shapes meaning. Meaning is everything. The meaning you assign to any event determines your next move, your next emotion, and ultimately, your next chapter. You can't stop the world from challenging you, but you can control the beliefs through which you face it. Every day, life hands you experiences. Your beliefs decide whether those experiences build you or break you. They decide whether you grow bitter or grow stronger. They decide whether you live in fear or live in faith. When you align your beliefs with truth, love, and purpose, your perception clears. You start to see beauty where there was chaos. You start to feel peace where there was confusion. And you start to realize that the world hasn't changed. You have, because once your beliefs shift, your perception transforms, and your entire life begins to follow that new direction. Most people are trapped not by chains they can see, but by beliefs they can't. These invisible cages are built from old experiences, fears, opinions, and conditioning that have silently dictated the limits of their potential. You might not even realize it, but your entire life has been influenced by the stories you've been told and the ones you continue to tell yourself. When you were young, someone said you weren't good enough, and without realizing it, you built a wall to protect yourself from that pain. You stopped trying in certain areas. You stopped dreaming too big. You convinced yourself that it was safer to stay small than to risk failing. And every time you did that, the cage became stronger, not made of steel, but of belief. Not locked from the outside, but from within. The truth is, most of the limits that hold you back aren't real. They're beliefs that have been repeated so many times that they feel like reality. You've accepted them as facts without ever asking where they came from or why you still carry them. Beliefs like, I'm not worthy, I always mess things up, people always leave me, or I'll never be successful. Those aren't truths, they're mental programs. They were written in moments of fear, rejection, or pain, and they've been running your life ever since. You might have forgotten the exact moment they were formed, but your subconscious hasn't. It's been using them as rules that decide what you attempt, how you react, and what you expect from life. Until you become aware of them, you keep living the same story, thinking you're making choices, when in reality, your beliefs are making them for you. Awareness is the turning point. The moment you start to notice the pattern, the cage begins to crack. When you feel resistance towards something you know you want, that's a belief pulling the strings. When you find yourself self-sabotaging just as things begin to go well, that's a belief trying to keep you safe. When you keep attracting the same type of relationships or repeating the same failures, that's not coincidence, it's programming. The subconscious mind isn't your enemy, it's just following the blueprint it was given. Its only job is to protect you based on what it believes to be true. If it believes risk equals pain, it will hold you back. If it believes failure equals shame, it will make you procrastinate. It's not personal. It's protection based on false information. The way out is not to fight the belief, but to see it clearly for what it is, a story that can be rewritten. You can't break free from something you can't see. That's why awareness is power. When you catch yourself thinking, I can't, stop and ask, who told me that? When you feel like you're not enough, ask, whose voice am I hearing? Sometimes it's a parent's disappointment, a teacher's criticism, a friend's betrayal, or society's expectation echoing in your mind. But here's the truth, they planted the seed, but you've been watering it. Every time you replay that memory, every time you believe that voice, you give it life. Awareness lets you stop watering what no longer deserves to grow. The moment you become the observer instead of the prisoner, the moment you realize you're not your thoughts, but the thinker of those thoughts, the bars of the cage begin to dissolve. The beautiful thing about awareness is that it transforms pain into power. Every limitation becomes an invitation to question, to heal, to grow. You begin to see that what once controlled you was never truth, only interpretation. Someone told you that you failed, and you believed it meant you were a failure. But awareness allows you to separate the event from the meaning. The event was neutral. You assigned the meaning. Once you see that, you can assign a new one. You can decide that failure means growth, rejection means redirection, and pain means preparation. You start to realize that freedom was never about escaping the world, but about changing the lens through which you see it. Many people live decades without ever becoming aware of their beliefs. They chase goals, relationships, and success, thinking those things will fill the emptiness they feel inside, only to end up repeating the same dissatisfaction. Because the real issue isn't outside, it's inside. You can't build a new life with the same old beliefs. You can't receive abundance while believing you're unworthy. You can't experience love while believing you'll always be abandoned. The belief will always win. That's why awareness is the first step to any lasting transformation. It shines a light on the hidden agreements you've made with yourself. The ones that say, I can't, I shouldn't, or I don't deserve this. And once you see those agreements, you have the power to break them. Becoming aware of your beliefs doesn't mean judging them. It means understanding them. Every belief, even the limiting ones, was created for a reason. At some point, it served you. It protected you. It helped you make sense of pain. But what once protected you can now be the very thing holding you back. Awareness allows you to thank that belief for its purpose and release it with compassion. You don't have to hate the old version of yourself that believed small. You simply have to upgrade the operating system, because you can't run a new life on outdated programming. You have to consciously choose beliefs that match who you want to become, not who you used to be. The key is observation without judgment. When you become aware of a limiting belief, don't fight it. Fighting it only strengthens it. Instead, witness it. Acknowledge it. See it clearly, and remind yourself that you are not your beliefs. You are the awareness behind them. That awareness is your true self, the part of you that existed before the conditioning, before the pain, before the programming. That awareness is infinite, powerful, and free. The more you live from that space, the less control those old beliefs have over you. You start to recognize their voice, but you no longer obey it. You hear you can't, and you move anyway. You hear you're not ready, and you act anyway. Awareness gives you the power to choose differently. Once awareness grows, life begins to look different. The same circumstances no longer trigger the same reactions. The same challenges no longer have the same weight, because you've shifted from being a victim of your beliefs to being the master of them. You start creating space between the thought and the response, and in that space, you find freedom. That's the space where transformation happens. You realize you've always had the power. You just needed to wake up to it. The old beliefs lose their grip because you stop feeding them attention. You begin to replace them not with empty affirmations, but with truths you feel deep in your soul. Truths like, I am enough, I am capable, I am guided, I am free. And over time, those new beliefs become your new filter. Awareness doesn't just change your thoughts, it changes your energy. When you see clearly, your vibration shifts. You stop carrying the weight of old wounds. You stop attracting situations that match your pain. You start to magnetize experiences that match your truth, because the world is always mirroring your inner state. As within, so without, The more aware you become, the clearer your inner world gets, and the more peace and purpose flow into your life. You stop chasing freedom because you realize it's already within you, waiting to be recognized. You were never trapped by the world, you were trapped by perception. And the moment you see that clearly, the invisible cages crumble. When you change your beliefs, everything else in your life begins to shift with it. Your emotions, your actions, your habits, and even the people and situations you attract all start to realign. Most people try to change their lives by changing what's on the outside. They change jobs, relationships, locations, but they forget that the outer world is a mirror of the inner one. Nothing changes permanently until the belief behind it changes. Your beliefs are the foundation of your identity, the root system that feeds every thought and behavior you have. When you pull out an old belief and plant a new one, you don't just change how you think, you change who you are. Your beliefs are the blueprint of your reality, and your reality can never rise higher than the blueprint you've built. Every emotion you feel is born from a belief. When you feel fear, it's not the situation that causes it. It's the belief that you might lose something. When you feel joy, it's because a belief about abundance or safety has been activated. When you feel anger, it's because a belief about fairness or control has been challenged. The emotion is the echo of the belief. So when you decide to upgrade your beliefs, your emotional landscape transforms. You begin to experience peace instead of panic, confidence instead of doubt, love instead of fear. Emotions no longer control you because you understand where they come from. They are messengers, not masters, and they are guiding you back to what you believe about yourself and the world. Changing your beliefs rewrites your emotional script. You stop reacting to life and start responding with power. The next ripple effect is your behavior. Every decision you make is rooted in belief. If you believe you're not good enough, you hesitate, you overthink, you play small. If you believe you're capable, you act boldly, you take risks, you follow through. The same opportunity appears, but your belief decides whether you step forward or retreat. When you shift the belief, the action naturally changes. You don't have to force yourself to act. Action becomes automatic because it now aligns with who you believe you are. People think motivation drives behavior, but in truth, belief does. When you believe deeply, motivation is irrelevant. You move because movement feels inevitable. You no longer need to hype yourself up because the belief itself becomes your fuel. You become consistent because your actions are congruent with your identity. You no longer need willpower to push forward when belief pulls you over time. These new actions create new patterns, and those patterns reshape your destiny. Every repeated action carves a path in your brain, and those paths form habits. The habits that once held you back begin to fade because they're no longer supported by the beliefs that created them. You can't keep acting like a victim when you believe you're powerful. You can't keep settling for less when you believe you're worthy. You can't keep procrastinating when you believe your purpose matters. The inner shift naturally creates the outer transformation. You don't force growth. It unfolds. The things that once drained you no longer hold the same power because they don't match your new frequency. You start to attract people and opportunities that reflect your new self-image. Life starts to organize itself around your upgraded beliefs. What most people don't realize is that belief is not just mental, it's energetic. Your beliefs emit a frequency. They communicate with the world around you. When you believe you're unworthy, your energy contracts. You move through life timidly, and that energy tells others how to treat you. When you believe you're valuable, your energy expands. You walk differently, you speak differently, and the world responds to that vibration. You stop chasing and start attracting. Belief shifts your energy, and your energy shifts your reality. That's why you can meet two people with the same skills and opportunities, yet one thrives while the other struggles. The difference isn't intelligence, it's identity. One believes they deserve it, and the other believes they don't. The law of belief rewards certainty, not talent. Changing your beliefs also reshapes your self-concept. Every identity statement begins with I am. Those two words are the most powerful in the language of creation. Whatever follows them becomes your life. If you say, I am confident, your mind finds evidence to support it. If you say, I am unlucky, your mind searches for proof of misfortune. The subconscious doesn't argue. It obeys. It builds your reality based on the commands you give it. When you decide to change your beliefs, you must also change the I am statements that define you. You stop saying I am stuck and start saying I am evolving. You stop saying I am broken and start saying I am healing. These aren't affirmations. They're instructions to your subconscious mind. Over time, your identity shifts to match the new commands. You become what you repeatedly declare yourself to be. Your relationships also transform when your beliefs change. You no longer tolerate the same patterns because you no longer believe you deserve them. If you've believed love means pain, you'll attract people who confirm that belief. When you start believing love means peace and growth, you attract a different kind of energy. When you believe you have value, you stop begging for validation. You stop settling for half-hearted effort. You stop rescuing people who refuse to rise. Your standards elevate not out of ego, but out of self-respect. You begin to draw boundaries that protect your peace, not from fear, but from alignment. The people who match your new belief system remain, and those who don't simply fall away. It's not rejection, it's resonance. Your relationships are always mirrors of your beliefs, and when you upgrade those beliefs, the reflection changes. This transformation even extends to your health and body. Your body responds to your beliefs about it. If you believe you're fragile, your energy lowers. If you believe your body is strong and capable of healing, it starts responding differently. Countless studies show how belief, what we call placebo, can activate healing processes even without medication. Your cells listen to your thoughts. The chemistry of your body changes to match the emotional state your beliefs create. Stress hormones rise when you believe you're in danger, even if you're perfectly safe. Healing hormones flow when you believe you're supported. Your beliefs don't just shape your mind. They influence your biology as your beliefs evolve. So does your relationship with challenge. The same setbacks that once broke you now build you because you no longer believe struggle means failure. You see obstacles as invitations to grow. You stop interpreting pain as punishment and start seeing it as preparation. The storm doesn't change, you do. When your belief changes, meaning changes, and when meaning changes, everything changes. That's why belief is more powerful than circumstance. Two people can face the same hardship, and one falls apart while the other rises stronger. The difference lies in what each person believes about what's happening. Belief gives you resilience. It gives you the ability to keep moving when the world says stop. It gives you the strength to find light even in the darkest night. When you start changing your beliefs, your future begins to expand. You start imagining possibilities that once felt impossible. You start taking risks you used to avoid. You start stepping into arenas you once thought were reserved for others. Your reality begins to stretch to fit your new level of belief. The world doesn't limit you. You limit yourself through belief. The moment that limit is removed, you realize how much potential was waiting beneath the surface all along. Your beliefs are not fixed. They are chosen. And when you consciously choose beliefs that align with growth, courage, and abundance, your entire life rearranges itself to match that decision. Belief is the foundation of creation. It's the force that turns vision into reality. You can't attract what you don't believe you deserve, and you can't sustain what you don't believe you can handle. When your beliefs rise, your standards rise. When your standards rise, your actions rise. When your actions rise, your results rise. It's a chain reaction that starts from within. Every transformation begins in the invisible world of belief before it becomes visible in the physical world. You don't need to see proof to believe. You need to believe to see. That is how emotions, actions, and destiny begin to follow you instead of fight you. The law of belief does not just influence your thoughts. It controls the energy you radiate into the world, and that energy determines what returns to you. Every belief you hold emits a frequency, and that frequency becomes a magnet for matching experiences. You are constantly broadcasting signals to the universe about who you think you are, what you think you deserve, and how you expect life to treat you. Whether you're conscious of it or not, your beliefs are shaping your vibration, and your vibration is shaping your reality. You can't fake energy. You can say all the right words, repeat affirmations, act positive on the outside, but if deep down your beliefs are soaked in fear, doubt, or unworthiness, that's the energy the world feels from you. Life doesn't respond to your words, it responds to your energy, and your energy is always the product of what you truly believe. When someone operates from strong, empowering beliefs, their presence changes the room. You can feel it. They walk differently, speak differently, and their confidence commands attention without effort. It's not arrogance, it's alignment. They are congruent. Their beliefs, emotions, and actions are synchronized. That's magnetic energy. It's the same reason some people attract opportunity after opportunity, while others, equally talented, can't seem to catch a break. The universe isn't favoring one person over another. It's responding to belief-driven energy. If your energy is rooted in scarcity, you'll attract more lack. If it's rooted in gratitude, abundance flows naturally. Your vibration is like a signature frequency that tells the world exactly what to send back to you. Think of belief as the transmitter and reality as the receiver. When your transmitter sends out signals of I'm not enough. The receiver sends back experiences that confirm that message. You meet people who treat you the same way you treat yourself internally. You face situations that reinforce the story you keep telling. This is why self-belief is not just about confidence, it's about energetic integrity. The stronger your belief in your worth, the stronger your energy field becomes. You start repelling negativity, manipulation, and chaos. You stop chasing and start attracting. The energy of belief creates an invisible boundary that protects your peace and amplifies your power. Energy doesn't lie, and neither does your belief system. You can't pretend to believe in abundance while secretly worrying about losing everything. You can't say you trust the process while constantly trying to control every outcome. The vibration of doubt cancels out the vibration of faith. The universe reads the truth beneath your words. It responds to the emotion, not the declaration. That's why genuine belief feels effortless. It doesn't require force or obsession. When you truly believe, you release resistance. You let go of the need to manipulate outcomes. You trust that what belongs to you is already aligning itself in your favor. That surrender, that certainty, that emotional coherence is what opens the flow of divine timing and universal support. Your beliefs also determine the emotional charge you carry. Every emotion, joy, fear, anger, gratitude, emits a measurable vibration. When your beliefs are empowering, your emotional state stays high frequency. You feel light, focused, creative, inspired. But when your beliefs are limiting, your vibration drops into frustration, anxiety, or hopelessness. The energy you live in becomes the magnet for what you experience. People often wonder why negativity keeps showing up in their lives. It's not bad luck. It's energetic alignment with the beliefs they refuse to change. You can't expect high-frequency outcomes from low-frequency beliefs. You have to upgrade the vibration first. You've probably noticed how some people effortlessly manifest opportunities. They just happen to be in the right place at the right time, meeting the right people. That's not random. That's belief energy at work. When your belief is unwavering, your vibration becomes stable. The universe recognizes that stability and mirrors it back through synchronicities, connections, and momentum. But when your belief fluctuates, when you believe one day and doubt the next, you send out mixed signals. It's like tuning into one radio station, then switching frequencies halfway through the song. The universe doesn't know which version of you to respond to. That's why consistency of belief is everything. The moment you decide to hold your frequency, regardless of what's happening around you, you start mastering energy instead of reacting to it. Energy flows where belief goes. When you believe something strongly enough, your body language shifts. Your tone, your pace, your presence, all of it becomes more commanding. People feel drawn to you because belief carries certainty, and certainty creates safety. Everyone is subconsciously looking for someone who believes. In leadership, in relationships, in faith, belief is contagious. When you believe in your mission, others start believing too. That's why the most influential people in history weren't necessarily the most logical. They were the most convicted. Their belief created an energetic ripple that changed entire generations. Your energy field is not static. It expands and contracts with your belief. When you're filled with fear, your energy collapses inward. You feel small, disconnected, powerless. When you're filled with faith, your energy expands outward. You feel unstoppable, grounded, divinely supported. This is why people who live by empowering beliefs radiate charisma. It's not something they do, it's something they are. Their energy speaks louder than their words. And because energy doesn't need translation, it transcends language, culture, and background. People can sense your belief before you even open your mouth. To truly shift your energy, you must first shift the beliefs that are lowering it. If you constantly feel drained, anxious, or uninspired, look at the thoughts you're repeating. Every thought carries an emotional frequency. The more you dwell on a disempowering belief, the more it anchors into your vibration. Energy follows focus. So if your focus is on what's missing, your vibration amplifies lack. If your focus is on what's working, your vibration amplifies gratitude. The mind creates the belief, but the heart broadcasts the energy. That's why the most powerful transformation happens when belief moves from the head to the heart. The law of belief works in harmony with the law of vibration and the law of attraction. What you believe determines the frequency you emit, and that frequency determines what you attract. When your belief and vibration are in alignment, manifestation becomes effortless. You no longer have to force results, they flow. You stop chasing what you desire and start magnetizing it. This is the energetic sweet spot where miracles occur. Not because the universe suddenly favors you, but because you've finally become an energetic match to what you desire. It's also important to recognize that energy doesn't just affect what you attract, it affects how you influence others. Your belief energy impacts every person you interact with. When you walk into a room radiating confidence and clarity, people feel elevated in your presence. When you walk in burdened by doubt or insecurity, the energy drops. You are either amplifying or diminishing energy wherever you go, and it's all based on what you believe about yourself. That's why personal transformation always precedes external transformation. You can't elevate others from a low vibration. You must first become the energy you wish to experience. When your beliefs finally align with your divine potential, your energy becomes unstoppable. Doors open, opportunities appear, people gravitate towards you, and solutions reveal themselves in ways you couldn't plan. You start to see how powerful this universal law truly is, not as some mystical idea, but as a practical truth. Everything you want is already waiting at a specific energetic frequency, and belief is the key that tunes you to it. Your belief calibrates your vibration, and your vibration determines your experience. Once you understand this, you stop waiting for change, you become the change, you start living in alignment with the truth that the energy you carry is not random. It's the echo of your deepest beliefs being reflected back to you in real time.